Hello, Jane Fays here from Jane Fays Creates. Well, getting close to Christmas now, and for me that means making my annual Christmas cards. These aren't it, but they're a similar idea. And I have been doing that for 38 years, so I absolutely love card making. But one of the things I did over on Instagram was to show you the making of these gift tags, and I created this template particularly to suit the 8x10 gel plate. If you only have a 5x7 gel plate, you can cut that in half and that just fits on a 5x7, just one of those tags. So these are the tags I made, and I thought I'd just do a rerun here on YouTube for in the same colorway, just in real time, so that you can see how it is done. And there will be a link below this video where you can also go to download this template. All right, so we start with, as you can see, we start with printing the laser image transfer in this turquoise, and the turquoise I'm using is a golden turquoise phthalo. So we're going to hope for a good transfer, because we all know they're not always perfect, but it is nice when they come off nice and clean. The best way to do that is to make sure, first of all, you get this nice even, or calm, as I call it, calm surface over your whole plate. So if you've put on a bit too much, now's the time to roll it off. But I am pretty happy with how much I have on at the moment. So I'm really just working, I'm going to take a little bit off, just working that existing turquoise paint over the plate, getting rid of my braille lines, really softening up my strokes. Very soft. And when we've got it nice and even, which it is now, I will lay down my image, making sure that those two gift tags are centered. I have printed that off on a good quality laser printer on some nice premium paper. So pulling that off. It is a hot day in Sydney today, so it is sticking like crazy. Oh, can you see that it's even warping, excuse me, the gel plate? That, it did work, but it was really stuck down. That's the laser print. Excuse me a minute. Sorry about that. That's the laser print. It looks good in and of itself, doesn't it? But there we go, our image on the gel plate. There's just a couple of little bits and pieces. Probably it was a bit of a messy gel plate to start with. I had been printing in gold, so it'll be interesting to see whether there's any gold in that. But I'm going to let that dry now. I tend to use a hairdryer and just on cool. So rather than, I'll turn the volume off, but I'll keep it in real time so that you just know how long it's taking. Okay, that is pretty well dry. I'll just bring it close to the camera so that you can see the detail in that pattern. So it did hold its shape and the transfer did work really nicely. Down here you can see some little bits of mess, but maybe that was, as I said, I had been printing in gold, so it was, it may not have been completely cleaned. So I just thought I'd show you a nice close-up of that image. Really pretty pattern. The pattern is actually some wallpaper that I photographed in a palace, actually. So that is now dry. I do like to use the traditional message of Christmas. I don't use Santas. I don't use Christmas trees very often. I stick to the Christian message of Christmas, and so that's why I've chosen the word joy. But the pattern is just a way of adding decoration to my artwork, and I'm not overly fussed about sticking with those Christmas motifs that are so common, and it makes it something a little bit different. I'm just getting a piece of my substrate ready, and as I had done on my gift tags, which have blown away with, sorry about that, the gift tag blew away with the hairdryer. So I am going to now use an Amsterdam in olive green light, which I'll just show you the same colorway that I did before. So this is now going to be the pool layer. I will clean off my roller, which has still got turquoise on it. So just cleaning that off, and I'll grab a clean one. And once again, we're going to put down a thin layer of this Amsterdam olive green light. And you can play with lots of colorways. You can use a traditional gold. You could use, dark green and red. Or as I'm doing here, you can just go with something that's very non-traditional. I've still got green, but this sort of colour isn't normally associated with Christmas, but I really like these together. So just making that layer nice and even so that I pick up the full image. Lay that down. Making sure there's no air bubbles. This is a nice quality, it's like a 270 gram watercolour paper. So it holds the dampness of that print layer. It doesn't make the paper stretch very much. And it's also nice to write on. So it's important not to use something that you can't write on this side, because this will be on the inside of your gift tag. So once again, I'm just going to dry that with the hairdryer. You really want this layer to be very dry and well adhered to this substrate so that it lifts the previous layer. Okay, I think that might do us. Let's see how that printed. It's nice and sticky to the gel plate. go. It's all come off. It's a nice bright green. I now remembered that I did add a bit of yellow to that. So it's not exactly the same, but there we go. I'm going to allow that to dry a little bit more, and then I'll show you how I trim it down, and then I'm going to add a few little touches with a white gel marker. The idea of these lines is that it will give you an idea of where you're to cut. The idea is that you cut these lines off your card. You don't leave them on. So if you're using scissors, I'm going to be using a Fiskars paper trimmer. But as I cut, I am cutting just on the inside of the pattern and also just on the inside of that line. So I am just lining it up in that gap there to trim off. Can you see how I've trimmed off that line? It's very close, and then the pattern. And then down here, trimming off this line all the way along. Keeping it square. You don't want to change the proportions of the image. So we're making sure that we cut off that line, and then just on the inside here. Off there, and off this one as well. Okay, so there are our two cards, and now we can fold them in half. Depending on how heavy the weight is of the paper, you can use a bone folder to help you fold that. So I'm going to just trim that white bit off a little bit there. Sometimes that happens when you're folding, but I will just get my scissors. Because I don't want that white bit showing out. So there's my two cards, similar to but different to the previous ones. As I said, I used a little bit of yellow in that one, but I've gone with just plain green. I've now just got a Signo Uniball broad, and I do find these white gel markers a little bit unpredictable because they can get clogged up or all sorts of things, and so I do have very many of them. But I'm just going to be selective where I just put some little white dots in my design. Just to lift a little bit. Just not overdoing it. And you could also do it around the back as well. So, I mean, you could do this in gold also, but I think the white shows up, and this pattern really lends itself to just having a lot of fun, actually. Very meditative as you play with the design and just filling in some. I mean, you could go to town, you could redo some of the pattern. You could do it in gold. There's also gold pens that you can use. So I'm not going to overdo it, but I do want to make it, what I've done over here, I'm going to do over here. What else have I got? So I could go around here. Little ones. Do the same on here. Oh, there, I've missed a few around here. And here. It's a lovely pattern. You'll be able to have lots of fun. There, there. So I'll leave it there for now. That just gives you an idea. Oh, no, hang on. I just need to make it symmetrical at least. I could easily do more, but I won't. There we go. Some nice little white dots on the back. Got to let that dry. And some little white ones on the front as well. Actually, what I did think I would do was make this into a bauble. So let's hope I've got the, as I said, I've got a couple of pens here that are not necessarily working very well. There we go, that one's the one that's working. And there we go. So I've done a little, as if that's a little bauble hanging down. I could have done the O actually. That would have given me a bit more space. I'll show you on this one. Yep, that looks better. I think the O, but that's the dot on the J. And then, of course, I can come back into this one as well and make all the same patterns that I did on the other one. It's a sort of thing that you can do while you're watching a Christmas movie or get some friends together and work on that together. So, my two finished little gift tags with my bauble lines in, and just a lot of little, pretty little white gel pen dots. There's my little gift tag that you can download. It'll look like this. So you'll need to laser print it, but it will be something that you can use to make beautiful gift tags this Christmas. So from me to you, Happy Christmas.